Have you ever seen two people stand side by side, saying nothing, yet the entire world feels the spark? That's exactly what happens every time Jungkook and Taehyung appear together, as if time itself pauses for them. Among all the countless BTS moments, why do their interactions always rise to the surface and never fade away? Perhaps because every glance, smile, or subtle gesture feels too real to ignore. Whenever the camera catches them, the audience gets trapped in a magnetism that defies logic. There is something between Jungkook and Taehyung that cannot be staged, a connection that simply exists. Fans call it chemistry, but it's more like a secret language only they seem to understand. When they laugh together, the air shifts, suddenly, the world feels lighter, warmer. And when they fall into silence, the quiet is somehow louder than the screams of thousands. Is this all just coincidence? Or is there a deeper story the world hasn't yet uncovered? Every small interaction, no matter how ordinary, ends up going viral. Isn't that proof there's more here than just friendship? This chemistry didn't appear overnight. Since their debut, the seeds of closeness were already there. And over time, that bond has grown, more mature, more complex, harder to define. There are moments when Jungkook is caught looking at Taehyung, and ARMY spends entire nights debating it online. And then, times when Taehyung casually mentions Jungkook in an interview, sending fans spiraling into theories. Do they realize the effect? Or do they let the world interpret freely, knowing the mystery fuels the fire? What's certain is that there isn't a single stage where JK and V's chemistry fails to steal the spotlight. Even in a crowded room, it feels like they exist in their own little space, just the two of them. That's why people keep asking, what really happens behind the spotlight? When two stars burn this brightly in the same sky, how can anyone look away? And when two souls so different move in harmony, it feels like witnessing a rare miracle. Some say they're just close friends. But why does every detail seem to carry so much more weight? Isn't it fascinating how their chemistry overshadows the official narrative that tries to contain it? Fans gave it a name, Taekook, a legend that grows bigger with every passing year. And that legend isn't just in fans' imaginations, it's on stage, on camera, in every digital footprint they leave. What makes it even more mysterious is their silence, they almost never explain it. Perhaps because they know, mystery is far more powerful than answers. That's why, every time Jungkook and Taehyung appear together, the world holds its breath. This isn't just gossip. This is a phenomenon. One that refuses to die down, no matter the year. And maybe this is the real reason why JK and V's chemistry is always a hot topic, because deep down, we all know, there's something they're too beautiful to ignore. Have you ever noticed how silence can sometimes be louder than words? That's what happens when Jungkook and Taehyung share a glance on stage, a silence that screams across arenas filled with thousands. It's almost like watching a drama unfold in real life, except the script doesn't exist, it's all unscripted, all raw, all them. And maybe that's why it hits so hard. Because the rarest kind of chemistry is the one you can't fake. Some call it friendship. Others call it destiny. Fans gave it a name, Taekook. But whatever label you use, it keeps pulling people back for more. Every moment feels charged. Every pause feels like a cliffhanger. Every laugh feels like a plot twist. And the mystery? That's the glue. Because Jungkook and Taehyung never fully explain what's going on. They let fans wonder, imagine, and debate. And in doing so, they turn every interaction into history. So maybe the real question isn't why their chemistry is always talked about. The real question is, how could it not be? Because when two stars shine this brightly, their light doesn't just illuminate the stage. It ignites the world. Imagine this, a stadium packed with tens of thousands, lights blazing, chants filling the air. But all it takes is one look, just one glance between Jungkook and Taehyung, and suddenly, it feels like the whole world stops breathing. People call it chemistry, but let's be honest, it's something far beyond that. It's the kind of energy you can't plan, you can't fake, and you definitely can't ignore. From the earliest days of BTS, fans noticed it. Two rookies, standing side by side, somehow radiating a bond that even the brightest spotlight couldn't outshine. And as the years passed, that bond didn't fade. It grew louder, stronger, more mysterious. Until one day, people weren't just watching BTS anymore, they were watching Taehyung and Jungkook. Why? Because every time JK and V are together, something happens. A laugh that feels too perfect. A glance that lingers too long. A silence that speaks louder than words. Fans gave it a name, Taekook. Not just a ship, not just a pairing, but a phenomenon, a story within the BTS story that the entire world can't stop talking about. And here's the truth, they never explain it. They never try to. And maybe that's why the mystery only grows. Because in silence, the imagination takes over. Think about it, if it were just friendship, why would the smallest interaction trend worldwide? Why would entire forums, channels, and hashtags live and breathe just for them? Even the tiniest details, a hand on a shoulder, a smile caught by the camera, become legends. Legends replayed millions of times, debated endlessly, loved fiercely. And maybe the most powerful part of all is that it doesn't feel forced. It feels natural. As if they aren't performing, but simply existing, and that existence is enough to change everything around them. But here's the question, do they know? Do they realize that with just a single glance, they can set the internet on fire? Or are they just living their truth, letting the rest of us chase shadows? One thing is undeniable. Their bond has survived the test of fame, pressure, and the chaos of the global stage. In a world where everything is scripted, polished, and perfected, their chemistry feels raw, unpredictable, and real. And maybe that's why we can't look away. Because in them, we see something human. Something untouchable. Something rare. So the next time you see Jungkook and Taehyung side by side, remember, you're not just watching two idols. You're witnessing a connection so magnetic, it refuses to be ignored. And perhaps that's the answer to the question, why is JK and V's chemistry always the hot topic? Because it isn't just chemistry. It's history being written in real time. Chemistry is not something you can design, and that's exactly why the bond between Jungkook and Taehyung feels so powerful. They don't need to force it, they don't need to rehearse it, and they don't even need to speak it aloud. Every time they share the same frame, it feels like two magnetic fields colliding, invisible, but undeniable. People have tried to explain it. Some say it's because they're close in age, others say it's because they endured the toughest days of debut side by side. But those explanations sound too shallow for something this deep. Every glance that slips past the camera, every smile that lingers a little longer than it should, carries a story that fans will analyze for hours. And even then, the feeling remains, that maybe there's more than what we see. That's why a single clip, barely a few seconds long, can dominate timelines worldwide. A simple shoulder touch, a shared laugh, or even complete silence between them has the power to set social media ablaze. But what makes it even more intriguing is how natural it all feels. Nothing about it seems staged or performed. Instead, it feels raw, like two people existing in their own world, unaware that millions are watching. And yet, maybe that's the secret. Because in a world of polished images and carefully controlled narratives, the unpredictability of JK and V's chemistry feels more real than anything else. What makes it even more powerful is the unpredictability. You never know when it's coming, a glance during rehearsal, a whisper caught on mic, a laugh shared when they think the camera isn't watching. And that unpredictability keeps fans on edge, waiting for the next spark. It's almost like a drama unfolding in real time, but without a script. No writers, no directors, just two people being themselves. And somehow, that's more gripping than any storyline you could imagine. Fans don't just watch JK and V, they feel them. The connection seems to cross the screen, making the audience believe they're witnessing something raw and unfiltered. That's why every tiny clip, even a second long, can be replayed millions of times. Some people try to downplay it, calling it coincidence. But if it were only coincidence, why does it keep happening, again and again, in ways that feel too perfect to ignore? The truth is, no matter what label you put on it, friendship, brotherhood, or something deeper, their chemistry refuses to be contained. It spills over, shaping the way people see BTS, and even redefining what it means to connect with someone on stage. And maybe that's why the world is so obsessed. Because in Jungkook and Taehyung, people see something rare, something fragile, something human, hidden inside the glittering world of global superstardom.